well, Nightwing. Was what inspired you for this? Like, any comic stories in particular, any past interpretations of Nightwing? What do you use as your anchor?
That's a great question. I have an image of Nightwing in my phone that I've had for many, many years because it was him hanging upside down shirtless, and I was like, I want that physique. I want to be able to do the abilities that he has. I always thought it was Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. And then after booking the role, I showed them, I was like, look, I have like a Batman, and they're like, no, that's Nightwing, that's you, bro. And I was like, no, that's Terry. They're like, no, that's Dick Grayson, that's you. So for like 12, 15 years, I've had an image of Nightwing that I've kind of literally tried to embody.
What have you done to prepare for this role? I mean, it's for you, obviously, what you just said, it's much more than just a speaking role.
Yeah, I actually called up a friend of mine, and his name is Big Bang Mike Olasky. I flew him in from Utah, and he trained with Steven Seagal's personal bodyguard and Bruce Lee's goddaughter's husband, Ron Balicki. So I called in Mike's, he called in his mentor, his sensei, and Ron Balicki came out, and literally we shot this whole thing, me fighting with the Screamer sticks, the duelist Screamer sticks, just like Nightwing, just to be able to see if I can handle it. I was nowhere near the shape I thought I was in, but I learned a lot. I learned how much work and discipline that I had to put in, and then I had proper mentorship. Just like in martial arts, you have to have a sensei. I had these gurus, the entire team, Wilson Mui, Patrick, and Ann, and the entire team backing me. And every question and insecurity that I had, they were guiding me properly through.
Fantastic. Yes.
So Nightwing's always been kind of a more positive, upbeat character, but with the death of Bruce, is that affecting who he becomes?
I think anytime you lose a loved one, it's going to shake your foundation. And in this situation, Bruce is much more than just a loved one. He was a mentor. He was a sensei. He was strict. He was tough love, and he was everything. And how do you fill those shoes, and how do you overcome that, right? That hole in your heart. Well, I think with Nightwing's case, he just continued to push forward and try to put that smile on. But with the love of others and the team there that supports, he was able to patch that heart, and he'll continue to do so as he tries himself to don the cowl of the Dark Knight.
You just went straight into breathe. That was good.
I blacked out.
So you've done a lot of action in the past in your work, and there was mention of doing the motion capture. How was that for you?
It was a brand new experience. I got to do performance capture in Montreal, WB Montreal, and again, I really look towards Wilson for guidance. Stephen O. Young, he's a stunt coordinator, actor, phenomenal talent. He's been doing many other projects. He plays Red Hood. And Stephen O. Young, I was like, dude, please help me out. And he was like, no. And I was like, please? And he was like, fine. Very Red Hood, like, fine, I'll help you. But basically, with the guidance again with Wilson, how does this look? Do you think we should throw punches and kicks here? And Wilson, no matter what we did, he was always finding ways to take our ideas and make them better. And then through that collaboration, we have probably the best game in the world.
I mean, and just to add to what Christopher was saying, like the motion capture, the performance capture, it's a technology, right? What these guys and girls brought to the floor in terms of the character, of how they developed the character, that was a solid base for me, because how we worked is we basically had to make the perfect take. When I have them on set, we're basically refining the take over and over until we get the most purest performance, because I take that to kind of run with the animator, with the artist, with everything else. So when the base is strong, everything else gets better, right? So no pressure. But they brought their A game, man. I'll admit it here. I cried in a couple of the scenes because
if he wasn't going to say it, I was.
But that's the emotional tone that we want to hit with them dealing with the death of Bruce. That's a very important thing for us.
And to chime in on that, it does come. It's a completely collaborative thing. I'm just the index or pointer finger on the whole body of work, which is what Wilson and the team have created.
So I'm curious. You have the history of, obviously Dick Grayson is Robin,
right,
grows up, becomes Nightwing. How do you balance advancing the characters but yet keeping kind of what the fans are expecting to see?
So that's actually a very good question. Very challenging, actually. I mean, for us, we're creating a game with 4 characters. we've been training ourselves to love each character equally, right? Because of their different history, their different lore, their different relationships with Batman, you know. But from the standpoint of us for the storytelling, what we're trying to do is basically tell their version of that story. So we're creating 4 cinematics in one. When you're playing a specific character and you switch, you're going to get that same cinematic, but in the flavor of Red Hood versus Nightwing version. And there are big differences. We're talking about different dialogue, we're talking about different interactions, we're even talking about custom cinematics that tell that story depending on who you play. And the fact that we're switching it back and forth like that as a player at any point, technically it's quite the challenge, but from a standpoint of the player, man, it's going to be something that's going to draw them in when they play that for sure.
What's really funny about that is on set, they were like, "Can we do this, Wilson?" He's like, "That's going to be so expensive. Let's do it."
Excellent.
My producers don't like me that much.
Thank you.
So when it came to, when you mentioned the different cinematics for each character, did you try taking a different cinematic tone? Because obviously it's an action-oriented game, so like when you look at film, like action films are filmed a certain way, or horror films, did you try to do some of those different thematic themes when you're doing the cinematics?
Absolutely.
To give that extra visceral feel for the players?
So I mean, there's two points to that, because one point is each character has their own kind of character arc within the game. They deal with Bruce's death in their own specific way, and those arcs are very unique. With their interactions with each other, with a lot of the banter inside the belfry and whatnot, you're going to get these different dynamics of the heroes interacting with each other. The other standpoint of the cinematics for me in all instances was being able to tell the story of the Court of Owls, how they all react to the Court of Owls differently, how they will react to the villains, which I'm not going to ask that question, but I'll just tell you, like, some of the villains, they do have unique experiences with each of the different heroes. So that's going to give you a different flavor whenever you play that, and you're going to see. It doesn't have to be like huge differences, but they're enough to be like, if you're a fan or you know what you're looking for, you're going to find it.
Besides Court of Owls, which is obviously a very important Nightwing story arc, what other Nightwing stories did you pull from for inspiration for your characters? And
Would you like me to take that, or you, Deathstroke? Deathstroke, you want to take that, Deathstroke? No?
Do not listen to me.
Honestly,
Help me, man. No, just kidding. It's an inside joke. Right? No, Deathstroke is not in our game.
or is he?
You know, I think you should answer that question.
It's tough because Court of Owls is I can't give anything away because it's a very integral part to Dick Grayson's storyline. In reference to villains outside of that? Is that what you're asking?
No, what other Nightwings, comic books and story arcs besides Court of Owls did you reference from?
Oh, okay, so Scott Snyder's Volume 1, Court of Owls. Also Grayson, Agent 47. I really read up on that quite a bit. Yes, that's post Court of Owls. However, I was I had the Grayson book for years. This is just an encyclopedia of knowledge, and I just kind of read through that quite a bit. I went online and I watched a lot of Teen Titans to learn his past as well. Because I'm a big I like to make jokes. My hubris is I try to make everyone laugh. Like my main goal is to make someone smile.
Yeah,
and
Dick is a much lighter character when you compare him to like Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, this is him. This is Christopher, and he's like that on set too. And Steven, who plays Red Hood, is like that on set too. So actually, when I'm sitting on set with them, I'm like, oh my goodness, if that man were alive, this is the stuff that he would have to
Like
do.
when you were like filming like cinematography, like so you have like Dick in the light and then you have like Jason in the dark.
So there's a lot of things that I'm gonna let y'all, like for me, just to let you know, the cinematics for me are layered cake. I don't put a cinematic in the game just because I need to. I want to put in as much Easter eggs, as much context, as much kind of like subtext. You know, he's going to be going through some serious emotional tones in the game. Not that one, but you know, but these are things that we wanted to explore in the game, and likewise, Robin will do that as well, Batgirl will do that as well, and also Red Hood will do that as well. So for me, that level of intensity that we are going to see in the game, we haven't seen in movies or in comics to that level for me, which is why we wanted to push the bar as far.
And which is awesome. You get 4 unique stories, so you're getting 4 games in one. And then we don't get Batman, now we get 4 awesome games in one.
Were there any challenges when it came to the cinematography, the bringing Nightwing to life that you guys faced and had to overcome?
My flexibility. They really did not want me to continue to film backwards. I was like, can you just face the camera? I was like, fine.
We heard
fine.
you did a lot of squats.
Yes, squats, yeah, long and short story.
Why is he bending down all of a sudden?
I think at one point he was like, why aren't you doing that? Can you add that? I was like, oh, yeah. I don't know. I think the hardest part would be just to make sure that we will always be respectful to Robin, his storyline, to Dick Grayson, everything that he's had. Always be respectful to that, and bring my own type of originality to it. It's hard to be authentic when you've got such a solid base. So much
there's
history.
such a wealth and breadth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you make that your own?
Just small.
So enthusiastic.
Coffee.
Just a small note on that side, just for him. I mean, this is the happier side of him trying to but deep down there's something inside that he never resolved in our game, and you're going to see that when you start playing the game. You're going to see that inner battle that he's going to have internally, which I think is going to be very cool.
The kind of core of sadness and darkness that he has to contend with.
You get it?
There you go.
Wait a second. We need to talk.
You're not just dealing with 4 different characters, but 4 different actors. How did you have to change your approach for each individual to bring out the best performance from that individual?
So for us, it was really about chipping away the diamond in the rough. I use that analogy. We basically take a broad stroke of the scene. We're going to play around on set, and the way that we worked, it's not about, we're going to do this and we're move. I'm looking for the purest performance. These guys know sometimes we would hit 20 or 30 takes before we get the overall. All right, that's an awesome take. Let's
16 was
that.
max. 16. We never went higher than 16.
But for each of them, it was about them bringing what they wanted, and it allowed them to kind of refine their art. Christopher's awesome. He kind of steers everything towards me and praises me, but I need to praise back to him, because he's they push that performance every time I ask them to. And what you see on screen right now with a lot of the narrative and whatnot, it's pure emotion, or it's something that's going to blow your socks when you take a look at that. It's very powerful scenes, and it's not about just them. It's about them, but also the 4 of them together, the 2 of them together, the 3 of them together. So it's all these different interactions that, as a player, you're going to be pretty to see.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of pride in your voice when you're talking about it.
Personally, for me, I've invested 3 years to make this as epic as possible, and that journey with the group here, it's been pretty phenomenal. And I'm hoping everybody's going to be sharing the same.
In reference to that, I have so much immense pride because I'm an Asian American portraying Nightwing. It's the first time that's happened. I'm so excited, and I hope to have many other children see that and say, hey, maybe I can be a superhero as well.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, dude.